everyone, welcome back to another segment of 5 Minute Tea with the CBE. We're joined here today, live from her classroom, with Tracie. Hi, Tracie.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Tracie, can you tell us a little bit about what you teach and where you are?
Sure. I teach fifth grade, and it's mostly self-contained classroom. I teach all subjects except social studies, and we are in Branson, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So we have come here on vacation. So it's a great vacation place. We got lots of kids. Not It's a pretty diverse community, so it's great.
Awesome. And Tracie, I understand that you helped us with our new alignments project. BrainPOP recently launched a new alignments tool. Can you tell me a little bit about that process and what you learned from it?
Yeah, I would watch a movie, and then I would use the online tool to sort through all of the state standards, Common Core standards, and then all the other states that don't use the Common Core, and find the standards that matched with that movie, whether it was reading, writing, science. I did some math movies as well. So yeah, and then
Is
we just
there,
matched them up.
oh, thank you. Is there a specific movie that you can think of where through that process you were able to think about how you can apply what you learned to your own classroom?
Yeah, for sure. There was the plot movie. I had originally just thought of it as like a reading skill. And then as I was watching the movie, the perspective in the movie was Tim was writing a story for his editor. And so the editor was trying to help him make his story better by thinking about like how plot works, the elements of plot and how it works in this cycle. And she helped him to see how to develop his story better. And she used examples from stories that we've all heard, Wizard of Oz and some other stories, and how they go through that plot cycle, and then how he could then use it in his own writing of his own story. So it was a combination of reading and writing in there, and that's what I love to do in my classroom is combine those two things. And so the movie fit perfectly.
How did you then take that and how did that translate into your classroom?
Yeah, so we watched the movie. We just watched it all the way through one time. I like to just watch it and they can just enjoy it. And then we went back through it again and made an anchor chart that had the different parts. And I picked out the important parts, the introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. We made that chart together talking about what each of those parts are. And then we've had that hanging in our classroom. Then from there, we took and we used a graphic organizer that I've used with my students to dissect some that we had read together, so they were all familiar to my students, and so they went through the elements of plot with those books. And then then we turned and looked at it as writers, and the students then wrote their own story. They planned their own story using this same graphic organizer. They used all those elements of plot as a writer this time. And then they are still in the process, but this is a student's draft here. He's almost done with his work. So I just enjoyed how it helped the students make their stories more interesting, thinking about those books that they love because they have those good elements of plot, then they can put those in their own stories as writers.
How did
So,
you how did you go about planning this lesson for your students?
yeah, so I thought, we need to do something together to talk about vocabulary because there's some big vocabulary in these lessons. And then I found the story organizer and how it works in a cycle. And so then I pulled stories that they liked or that we had read together as a class. So, and then it just flowed from there. So, yeah.
Amazing. And so going forward as you're planning your lessons, where do you see your knowledge of standards and alignments fitting into that lesson planning process?
Yeah, all the movies that I watched, it just helped me to see what variety of movies there are available on BrainPOP, and that there are ones that I always went back to before doing this project. I use certain ones every year, but then going in and doing this process, I was able to see, oh yeah, that one does fit what I teach. It maybe is named something I wouldn't have noticed before,
Mm-hmm.
in my standards, but after watching it, it clicked. So seeing it listed with that standard helped.
Do
Yeah.
you have a specific example of one that you were like, oh yeah, this totally fits, but I never would have initially thought of it that way. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this plot one is the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back. Oh.
The plot one's a really great example because it's an example of one where, you know, on the surface, it's a reading topic.
Yeah.
But then as you dive deeper, and this is something that you noticed and you were able to recognize, and so now other teachers can benefit from that too, that it's actually also writing and that it can be used in your classroom, used in your classroom as a writing topic as well.
Right. Yeah. I'm pulling up the spreadsheet here real quick.
Yeah, no problem. And while you're doing that, you know, I was just going to say, like, what makes this alignment, I think, so awesome and what I'm so grateful for is that real teachers like you are crafting these and are putting them together. So, you know, someone else can then take what you now know about plots in reading and writing and then go into their classroom and do the same thing and you know, learn from you through this process. We are actually running out of time, but the good news is, oh no, you're frozen, Tracie. I lost you.
Probably trying to load everything. I opened up that spreadsheet and it's really big.
That's okay.
It always takes a while. So let me.
There we are. You're back. You're back. Yay.
Yay.
So we actually just ran out of time, but the good news is I'm going to post this. And so if other CBEs have questions, they can comment. And Tracie, to those CBEs who are watching, will reply. And if there are some that come to mind later, I'm sure everyone would love to hear from you in the comment section. Awesome. And I know I'm grabbing you from your day. You have to get back to teaching, but let's toast to alignments.
Yes.
Cheers. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining us.
That's no problem. It was great.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.